and the All Indiana Podcast Network. This is the News 8 Daily 8 Podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update.
Hello, I'm Jeremy Jenkins, and this is your News 8 Daily 8 Podcast for Wednesday, January 29th.
Looking for ways to save on your energy bills? AES Indiana has you covered. From smart thermostats to home energy assessments, we offer simple solutions to keep your home comfortable and your costs down. AES can help you save money and energy with kits, tips, rebates, and more. Visit aesindiana.com/ways to save to learn more about how we can help you save money. AES Indiana, helping you discover real ways to save.
We begin with some new updates in that story we brought you out of Elkhart. We now know the names of those involved in a shooting at the grocery store. Investigators identified the two people killed inside the Martin supermarket as 49-year-old Benjamin Jeffrey and 19-year-old Anna Sue Rocha. Rocha was an employee at the store, while Jeffrey was just shopping when the incident happened. Police officers Paul Vanderberg and Ethan Pasternak were injured in that shootout with suspect Juan Sanchez outside the store. Sanchez was killed in the shooting. Both officers are expected to recover. Governor Mike Braun has ordered state law enforcement agencies to cooperate with federal immigration officials in the midst of the Trump administration's increase in immigration sweeps across the country. News 8's Garrett Bergquist reports.
Indiana law already requires law enforcement agencies to cooperate with federal authorities. Braun says today's order is meant to reinforce that. The governor's order comes as federal authorities are arresting thousands of suspected undocumented immigrants around the country.
This executive order is about putting the spirit of Indiana behind what most Americans are for.
The order directs statewide law enforcement agencies, such as the state police, to notify the State Intelligence Fusion Center if they believe a criminal suspect is in the country illegally. The order is limited to people with a criminal history or those suspected of a felony, espionage, or a public safety threat. The Fusion Center would have to notify Immigration and Customs Enforcement if its investigators conclude the information is valid. After that, it's up to ICE. Does this mean that Indiana state troopers will now be taking active roles in looking for people who are unlawfully?
So when it comes to, we're going to do what the federal government asks us to do that's reasonable to help find the most egregious examples of illegal immigrants that have committed egregious crimes. And I'm going to direct any of our authorities to not resist, and hopefully they'll be compliant on their own.
We ask our local law enforcement officers to do a variety of things. We ask them to pick up the stray dogs. We ask them to be social workers to mental health issues. We ask them to take care of our homeless. We ask them to prevent crime. We ask them to intercept crime. We ask them to deal with drug issues. And now we're asking another aspect of them.
Garcia Wilburn says Braun's order doesn't really change law enforcement's day-to-day activities, but she says it could erode immigrants' trust in law enforcement.
And those partnerships are critical because when somebody helps police to solve a crime, that puts their immigration status at an entire another level. The federal government has long-standing relationships with expediting people who are cooperating.
Also today, Braun says he plans to continue the Indiana National Guard's deployment to the southern border. About 50 Indiana National Guard soldiers are currently on duty in Texas. At the State House, I'm Garrett Bergquist for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
Republican lawmakers are pushing a bill that would require county sheriffs to work with federal immigration officials under a program known as 287G. A state house committee is reviewing a proposal that would force county jails to hold undocumented immigrants who commit crimes until ICE picks them up and starts the legal process. Critics are calling this measure unnecessary.
When you look at, the whole state, there are many in law enforcement agencies, and not a single one has implemented this program. That's very telling. It's just not necessary.
The focus of 287G is about training, and it's that training that avoids those kind of misunderstandings and the creation of mistrust.
You just heard from Elias Sanchez and State Senator Eric Cook there. The committee heard testimony on the bill Tuesday, but did not take a vote. Earlier this week, the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office became the first in the state saying it would work with ICE agents. In other news, the head of the union representing 800,000 federal employees is blasting the Trump administration's offer to buy out any federal worker who leaves their job by next week. More than 2 million government workers will be paid through September 30th if they resign by February 6th. A memo shows exceptions for postal workers, military members, immigration officials, and national security jobs. The president of the American Federation of Government Employees accused Trump of pressuring workers to vacate their jobs. That same memo also mandates federal workers who stay in their positions return to the office full-time if they haven't already. Let's talk sports. Former Colts head coach and Wish TV Colts analyst Chuck Pagano is heading back to the sidelines. The Baltimore Ravens have pulled Pagano out of retirement, naming him senior secondary coach. Pagano returns to Baltimore, where he served as defensive coordinator back in 2011. He spent 6 seasons with the Colts, including a trip to the AFC Championship game back in 2014. Well, Wish TV is hitting the road again for the big game between the Chiefs and the Eagles. Sports director Anthony Calhoun will quarterback our coverage next week live from New Orleans. All Access Indy New Orleans kicks off next week on Wish TV. When it comes to the weather, it will be a mostly sunny day today, but Storm Track 8 says rain may be headed our way soon. Meteorologist Tara Hastings has your News 8 Daily 8 forecast.
We've got sunny skies out there right now. Live look here from our Speedway camera, 36 degrees in Indianapolis. And notice those winds out of the west right now at 15 miles per hour. That is creating a wind chill or feels like temperature at 27. And at times today, we could see those winds gusting 20, maybe 25 miles per hour. We're at freezing in Crawfordsville, 33 in Lebanon, 37 in Martinsville. Over in eastern Indiana, Richmond, you're coming in at 32 degrees, and it is 34 degrees right now in the Winchester area. We are going to look for today those temperatures to be climbing here quickly. I think will be about 40 degrees or so shortly after the lunch hour, and then we'll see those high temperatures into the low and middle 40s here under a mostly sunny sky. Now here's a look at the winds. Those winds by about the lunch hour, I do think will be gusting 20, maybe 25 miles per hour across parts of central Indiana. We'll get up to 45 degrees today, which is about 10 degrees above normal. Upper 40s right around that 50-degree mark for Bloomington, Bedford, Columbus, also right along the Ohio River. Later tonight, we'll see those temperatures fall into the 20s, and I do still think we're going to have mostly clear skies expected across the state tonight. Here is a look at Storm Tracker, and we are quiet, not really seeing any kind of rain or any kind of snow at all across parts of the Great Lakes. But this is our next storm system right here, right around the Four Corners region. It is going to move across parts of Texas, kind of gain some of this Gulf moisture, and then move across parts of Indiana as we head into the day tomorrow. So the first part of the day tomorrow will be dry, but then we're going to be tracking this system that is going to move across the state. So here's the upper level, the winds in the upper levels of the atmosphere, and you can kind of see where we get this little dip in the jet stream right here. That's going to move in, and that is going to bring us that rain moving in across the area on your Thursday. So let's time things out for you here on Futurecast. This is the lunch hour tomorrow. You can see still dry conditions, maybe even still some sunshine with a cloud cover off to the south and to the west of us. Now that rain begins to move in. This is right around the time frame about 5 o'clock or so. So right around the evening commute, we'll look for some light showers here across parts of Indianapolis. And then maybe where we see some of these yellows and oranges, some thicker rainfall, some moderate to more heavy rain at times. And then during the overnight hours, we will see that rain kind of taper off a little bit here. And then especially into Friday morning, some scattered showers will be possible. Now, moderate to heavy rain maybe at times for some spots, and where we see some of those heavier pockets of rain could pick up a little bit more. But in general, maybe about an inch of rainfall expected across the state tomorrow. Tomorrow, the cloud cover thickens up here, 44 degrees at lunchtime. We'll get into the upper 40s, right around 50 degrees for your Thursday. And then if we don't hit 50 on Thursday, I think we have another chance at it on Friday. In your 7-day forecast, some scattered showers possible And then going into the weekend, we will see dry conditions. About 42 degrees expected on Saturday, so temps drop a little bit. And then back up into the mid-50s on Sunday under a mostly sunny sky.
This has been your News 8 Daily 8 podcast for Wednesday, January 29th. I'm Jeremy Jenkins for Wish TV, wishtv.com, or follow us on Facebook for updates.
This is the News 8 Daily 8 podcast, a Wish TV News 8 update on demand. For even more, on demand and on the go. Connect with Wish TV on Facebook at wishtv.com and on the free Wish TV mobile app. Thank you for listening. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow this podcast for updates every weekday morning on the All Indiana Podcast Network and wherever you get your podcast.